Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again, I'm your host, Doc Rodden, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts, Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Christopher G. Mohr, Dave Dreher, and myself will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings tonight. In the spirit of the holidays, can't say the holidays, we're doing The Mean One. Yep.
Why can't you say Christmas?
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Say it both. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Yep.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah.
You just can't say
Kwanzaa?
Grinch.
I'm-
You just
Happy
can't say
Kwanzaa.
Grinch.
Yeah.
Grinch is the
All
only
good.
thing you can't say.
I was meant to be.
Happy
Never
Christmas.
mind. It doesn't matter. All right. Here's our host. Starting off with Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
Yahoo Dore.
It's very much so.
I'm good.
All right. Also joined this week is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. How you doing?
I'm fabulous. I'm getting into the holiday spirit as we speak. Yes.
Nice.
But apparently not everyone else here is.
There's
around the
some
holidays.
Grinches, Grumps, and Scrooges here. Yes. All right. Also joining us is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Mohr. How you
Who
doing?
just won another award this weekend.
Mhm.
You mean
just this weekend?
This award?
always prepared. By the way, I do not like green eggs and ham. I may not like this movie. Sam, I am.
What? What?
I don't know.
What? All right. Rounding out the crew is the one and only Dave Dreher. How you doing, Dave?
Hello. So we got to talk about this movie, huh?
Yeah, we do.
All right.
Yes,
Let's do
we
it.
do.
Let's get it over with. Let's go.
No, there's no getting over this.
Somebody's the mean one in this podcast.
All right. If you
Or
haven't figured
more
out,
than
we are-
one of us, possibly.
Somebody's being a Mike Finch.
Oh, no.
Yep. Mhm.
Wow.
All right. We're going to review this movie. We're going to start off giving you our first impressions. This will be spoiler-free, like there's spoilers. Then we'll get into a discussion and we'll get into things that happened during this satire of a movie. And then we'll wrap things up with our score 1 to 5 and our favorite scene. We hope you enjoy not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. And if you do, please hit the like and subscribe button. Share with a friend.
Yeah.
Help us reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers.
5,000 subscribers.
And only you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's take a look at the card and get things going.
Uh-oh.
All right, The Mean One, 2022. Sorry about that. It was a little slight delay. Opening exclusively at Regal Cinemas nationwide on December 9th, 2022, before hitting VOD sometime thereafter. Synopsis: in a sleepy mountain town, Cindy has her parents murdered and her Christmas stolen. That's really poorly written, but we'll get on with this. And her Christmas stolen by a bloodthirsty green figure in a red Santa suit, the Mean One. But when the ravenous Christmas-hating creature begins to terrorize the town and threatens to ruin the holiday, she finds a new purpose: trapping and killing the monster. Directed by Stephen Lamorte, written by Finn Cobbler and Flip Cobbler.
Oh, that's cute.
Or is it Kobler? I bet it's Kobler, but I
Probably,
like Cobbler.
but Finn and Flip, that's cute.
Finn and Flip, yes. The cast includes
Well, they're
David
married.
Howard Thornton,
Oh,
Crystal Martin, Amy Schumacher. Are they? Christopher Sanders, Jesse Holder, Tortele. How's that sound? I'm going to go with that.
tortillote? I don't know.
That's even better.
I like it. That sounds.
Yes.
That sounds
Chase Mullins and Flip Cobbler or Kobler. I think it's Kobler. I'm going to go with Kobler.
He played the father.
Yes,
Yep.
he did. All right. Why am I looking at me? I don't want to look at me. Get out of that screen.
And,
All right.
and you're boring.
I don't think. Just throw everything off the rails. I don't think Finn was the wife. I think Finn might have been another relative, because his wife had another name. And,
maybe.
I know
Finn,
nothing
when you
about
looked up
these
Finn's
people,
credits,
but
there weren't
cute
very many.
names. That's all.
And the
I
husband
know
and
he's-
wife did a ton of stuff for Disney.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's why I assumed, but maybe it's just a family member.
Somebody will clear that up for us. Right in the comments down below.
Oh, I'm sure.
All right, Jeff, what was your first impression of The Mean One?
Okay. I should have looked, but I didn't. I'm assuming that this is a very low budget. And
stretch, but yes,
it's
yes.
some of the acting is not up to par. And I there's a point where I'm just not sure what was intentional and what wasn't. Since I'm going first, I'm just going to say it. It's either the worst CGI blood I've ever seen, or exactly what they wanted it to look like. I don't know, but it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I kind of liked. I thought David Howard Thornton plays the mean one, and I thought he did very well. I liked his body motions and the stuff he did. There was a couple of great scenes there. They play all around the whole idea of they're not allowed to be the same as the G word. So they do all kinds of playing around with that, which was kind of funny in a few places. I thought it was a little weird that they were having an election at Christmas time. Or I don't know why she was campaigning at Christmas. So there was lots of weird stuff in there. So I don't know what to say about it. It's got a lot of faults, but I had a little fun with some of the scenes as well. So let's put it that way.
All right. Well, I'm going to shake up the order here, and Dave, you're up next. What was your first impression of The Mean One?
Well, this is a low budget film, so you have to expect some shortcuts, some less than stellar acting. You can kind of forgive all that. But, and I think we're going to hear this a lot, but the CGI blood, I think they're at the point now, even if it wasn't intentional, they're going to say it is, because there's no way anyone can watch this and be like, ooh, that's cutting edge stuff there. This was absolutely horrible. I mean, I'd really rather they just squirted ketchup on the lens. It would have looked better than what they did. It really just kind of took you out, because I agree with Jeff. Like the Art the Clown dude did a great job as
Art the Clown dude.
As a great, he did. Well, I mean, that's the other thing too. I think they're really riding high on the fact that he's so popular right now, because Art the Clown's so popular, and the fact that they got the same guy, in here playing that role. Kind of reminds me of what they did with Robert Englund when he was doing some of those lesser roles when Freddy Krueger was so popular. Like, ooh, well, this is a known horror name now. We can get him to watch anything as long as he's in it. But I think he did a pretty stellar job as playing the mean one for the most part. I don't know how your guys' screeners looked, if it was just mine or not, but I had a lot of washed out colors. Like a lot of time I couldn't see what was going on. Like the faces in the front were really bright, but you couldn't see what was happening like in the background. But it might have just been a bad screener on my end. I don't know. But that was pretty consistent through the whole movie, especially in some of the larger scenes, like in the bar when they have when those obnoxious parade people come in. Yeah. And then, it was particularly bad there. I think somebody somewhere had the nucleus of like a fun idea of making a parody of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And they had like 3 or 4 good ideas. And then after that, they didn't know what to do. So they just kind of to do something. We've already alluded to some of the best scenes, like the Mike Finch thing was hilarious. I thought that was really funny. And there was a couple scenes. There was some of the practical effects after the actual kills. The kills were horrible, but some of the practical effects, like afterwards when you were seeing the bodies laying on the ground and stuff, some of that didn't look too horrible. So just a little kudos there on the special effects reign. But I don't know. It fell way, 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 way short of what I wanted it to be. And I thought I read somewhere they said they were trying to parody like Hallmark movies as well. Or am I making that up?
I was actually thinking that it seemed like if Hallmark made a horror movie.
Yeah, it seemed like they're going for that.
Yeah, and again, it just kind of failed on all those fronts for me. So yeah, this one wasn't a popular watch for me.
It wasn't a popular watch. Oh no! Guess there's no Bambi the Revenge in your future. All right, Crystal, you're up next. What was your first impression of the mean one?
So, I didn't dislike this nearly as much as everyone else did. I thought this movie was actually really entertaining. Okay, so not that it doesn't have its faults, mind you. It has plenty of faults, but overall, I actually liked it. I enjoyed it. I found myself just watching it and having fun with it. I guess if you're looking for any sort of magical Christmas masterpiece, you're not going to find that here, but I don't know that anyone's looking for that coming for this movie. But so the narrator is brilliant. I wish they even had more narration throughout the entire film.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah, because at the moment that the narrator comes on, I was laughing and I thought it was cute and clever. Now I will say I agree with some of the acting. I feel like the movie could have been a lot better with a couple actor changes. I will say, however, the deputy was better than he had any right to be. He was actually very, very good. Like I was, I mean, I may watch actors in a different way, but he came across as really authentic. When he was a little cheesy, he was a little cheesy. He was, I don't know who that guy is, but he was like spot on. I think David did a phenomenal job, of course. I mean, but that goes without saying. I actually wish they had kind of given him more of a voice.
Giving him dialogue.
Yeah. Like I feel like I know he would have done a great job with that too. I think that they could have done more with him. If I had him in one of my films, I would definitely utilize that to the fullest extent. The makeup on the Grinch, I think, is great. I loved the way he looked. I liked that they had a cleaner Santa costume and then it was dirtier. I kind of like where they took the story too, like how he turned into what he is and where he was and how he hated this. And I feel like they had some awkwardness in there. Like there's a sex scene that was kind of weird.
Are you talking about the shower?
The shower scene. Yeah,
and so
that was a dream. That was a dream.
Yeah, but still, that was kind of weird
the
for some
Hallmark
reason.
part, maybe. No, that wouldn't be
Yeah,
Hallmark.
yeah, that must be it. But I did like the way that it was shot. I love the mayor. I think she did a phenomenal job too. But then there were some other actors that were just questionable at best. Questionable at best. I like the dad. The dad was hilarious. Actually, the dad made me crack up. PTSD. I was dying. I maybe it's just because I like the dad and I like the deputy, and those two. I think I could have dealt with more of their interactions. Would have been hilarious. So the CGI blood was a really unfortunate choice.
Horrible.
I think it was a choice, but it was a bad choice. Yes,
it was. I don't it would have been better without it. It didn't need it. It didn't need it. Like I don't understand that. I really was like kind of thrown for a loop with that. And I was like, ooh, that's going to be a problem for a lot of people. But like I said, overall, I found myself really entertained. I liked the whole idea that they made him like a Bigfoot. That was hilarious to me when they did the whole kind of Bigfoot kind of thing. I guess I just kind of was able to let go and just enjoy it. So I liked it.
Christopher G. Mohr,
Oh, no.
sir. What was your first impression of the Mean One?
This is one of those situations, sort of like that Winnie the Pooh slasher film, to where it's like, oh, we can do like a horror version of this and do it as a parody, and we can sort of get away with it. But it doesn't feel like it's anything beyond that. And I think they needed to stay in a lane. You know, if they leaned into more of the parody type stuff and made it more comedic and really played up even the Christmas movie type stuff, you know, which I watched a few of those over the holidays. And so, and there's some good and there's some bad, and there's always those tropes that you always see. But I'll be honest, I'm getting to the point now where I hate it when people give excuses to independent films because they don't have a budget. They still made some kind of effort that wasn't on a level that makes any sense, even for low budget. It's like with a lot of the indie films, you can sort of get away without a major cast, and so then you lean into the practical effects. And as much as there are some practical effects, there's also some really bad CGI effects, to where, why didn't they do that practically? Like stuff coming through your head or things like that, where you can totally see it's CGI. And talking about the CGI blood, not only is this bad, it's different variations of bad. There's parts where it's flat red, black red, that like stuff that I've used when I was early on that you shouldn't be using anymore. And there's other stuff that's more like viscous little reflections on the blood that looks like more like 1990s, like, you know, like when your screensaver comes up and it's the water's flowing or something. And it's like, it's overtly ridiculous to the point of you can't use that excuse. I'm sorry. It's just bad filmmaking. And then at the very end, it's like they start using stock footage for no reason, just because we don't have the money to shoot people being happy, getting presents and doing all these things. So we're just going to use a bunch of stock footage. And all of a sudden it's an Ed Wood film.
I was going to say, when all those films pull out the Ed Wood.
Yeah. I felt like I was like, did Ed Wood come back from the grave? So yeah. And a lot of the acting is back and forth. I hate it. I'm not gonna say it, but anyway,
you better. You had that. You
no,
I do it now.
And maybe it's one of those things where they're leaning into the Christmas thing. I hated the father who was co-writer,
oh, really?
so I thought he was just overtly cheesy. And I think anytime that people are trying to fake being happy and merry, it just seems bad acting. And it's just
okay.
It's kind of like with the Santa people come in. It's like, oh, I'm so drunk. Shut up. So yeah, and it's like the way it's shot. I mean, and beyond even just there's so many levels that shows the indie level that I don't know. I just feel like there needs to be care in this, and I think this is like, it's more about their version of this IP. It's more about that than it is making a quality picture, you know, because there's this thing they keep showing with the clouds going over the moon. That's one of the worst layers of stuff I've ever seen. This is like, I don't know. There's just things like that. It's just annoying. There's like a green screen in a car that's bad. There's just, and I
didn't even notice that.
And then the guy, you know, the guy's playing the Grinch. Yeah, his version of the Grinch is great. It would have been great if he talked. But he's basically just Art of the Clown with green hair. That's all he is, because he's just acting. He's doing the same thing. So why not give him something more to do? Because it's a waste of talent, to be honest. Yeah. And that narrator, every time the narrator came on, I said, just shut up, get off. And
really?
yeah, because that's like,
wow, I love it.
I was bored. I was like, just get on with it. And you can tell they were trying to stretch out the movie, because there's, how many times do we see the scene where the camera's looking at the outside of the house and the outside of the house and the outside of the house? It's like they're trying to stretch out the screen time. So I don't know. There's a lot of issues with it. I mean, I will say that I didn't totally hate it or anything. I mean, there's a little bit, without being spoiler, but there's towards the end where she's fighting back, that there's a laugh out loud moment when she pulls out the gun that made me laugh, just the way it's decorated. But things like that, that's when it got kind of, I was like, if it was silly like this, I probably would enjoy it more. But I think the problem is, I think they're trying the tone is all over the place. And they lean into like the Grinch joke at the bar. If it was more like that, I think it'd be more entertained by it. But I don't know. It didn't work for me. I mean, there's some bad editing in places and weird things that happen, and bad, you know, there's a lot of things that don't work together that does not work for me.
Does not work for you. All right. Well, I personally had a great time with this movie. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Yes, everything everybody's saying is absolutely true. And it was all, for me, it was all the better for all of it. I loved the narrator. I loved the kind of Z grade acting at times. But I really did enjoy the Grinch makeup and costume. They did a great job with that. And I think I'm the only one on this panel that wasn't bothered by the CGI blood, because I
know you usually hate that too.
I usually hate it, but it felt like a choice here. It felt like they were, you know, that it was part of the comedy. Now, for me, that's how I received it, and I had a good time with it. Whether that's intentional or whether it should be looked at that way, I'm not sure now. But at the time, I was like, oh, well, that's like stupid. But to me, it just felt like watching like a bunch of people having a fun time making a stupid, dumb movie. And I liked the characters. I thought the story had enough in it that, kept me going, with the weird, there's some weird subplots that, kind of twist and turn the film a little bit that are interesting enough to keep it alive. Would I rather have seen, something a little more visceral, and they actually have, the great kills on screen, of course, but I don't know. This was all tongue in cheek. This is straight up parody, and it's not meant to be. Now, could have been a lot funnier, of course, but I don't know. In the spirit of it, I had a great time with this movie. I enjoyed it, and I think a lot of people out there actually will enjoy this movie quite a bit.
Yep, I agree. But
only 1 out of 5 crew members say so. So
2 out of 5.
Well,
2
2.
out of 5.
Okay, 2.
Yeah. So I think that's probably about how it's going to be. Some people are. I think it's all going to depend on your expectations going in. I didn't really have high expectations.
No, I didn't.
I didn't have high expectations, and it definitely was worse than what I expected.
Well, I didn't think David Howard Thornton was just doing the same thing he did with Arctic Clown, other than it was a voiceless part. Because I thought he definitely did specific motions that were indicative of the mean one.
Well, he's played that character before. He's played that in the theater version of it, so that's the reason they got him to play that. And he does those specific movements, but I don't know. I really feel like they should have had him talk.
I do too.
I feel like that was I think that's the thing that kind of, because I wanted to see him play something different, and him just being a physical character again. It just felt like he's doing the same shtick, and I'd love to see him talk more and be able to perform more and show that different side of him as a character. So otherwise, he's just going to be known as this guy doing, and actually parts of his role were played by an actual performer, so he wasn't actually in that costume.
Really?
Bit of it. If you look in the credits, it said that.
I saw that in the credits, and I don't know what
creature
that means.
Performer. So I don't know.
Maybe during fight scenes. I bet it's
they had stunt people as well. So
yeah.
But,
yeah, he was definitely the one that came into the bar.
But they can. But the thing is, they can
doorway.
Probably a lot of the close-ups and stuff when he's talking and stuff. They can sort of get away with that, And I think that's always the thing you think about, because you always assume, kind of like the Mandalorian, they always had like a stunt person in different parts, That you always think, oh, it's not always him.
Well, I enjoyed all the little nods to the Grinch, right? Every time, like, the best one is, was it Mr. Finch or who was it? Mike Finch.
Mike Finch.
But I also liked the character Doc.
Dr.
And they found his name was Zeus, and they called him Dr. Zeus. Right? I thought that was hilarious. I thought it was funny.
I did too.
And I liked that guy. I liked that character too. Especially when he got drunk and the cop pulled him over before he even started the car.
I didn't do nothing. Like, he cracked me up when they were taking him to Jellies. I didn't do nothing. He seemed like a little kid. That was actually really cute. But no,
I will say that I do agree that I did like his character. I did like the deputy character. I think the deputy character grew on me as he went along.
He was actually a really good actor. Like, if you just watch his acting, I was like, he's actually better than he should be.
Yeah.
But there's a moment too where she's kind of treating him like poop. And I think it was funny because the dad says, oh, she's got PTSD. And he's like, I don't care. And then like the sheriff is like, oh, her family is, or whatever. And he's like, I don't care. And he's just smiling. He's like, hey, I think that's funny. I don't know. Maybe I like simps. I don't know.
How do you follow that? Is this controversial? I like the main character, the Cindy character. I liked her.
I don't think that's controversial. Okay. Why would that be controversial?
I don't know, because I don't know who you guys didn't like. I'm like, I liked everybody. I don't really.
I think that
I thought
she was-
Crystal Martin started off pretty rough at the beginning, but I thought she got
Yeah.
That's
better.
yeah.
Well, yeah, she's got her own.
And as I was looking at these people, both her and Amy Schumacher, who played the mayor and was one of the producers, are listed as actor and stunt performers. So
Well,
they
she's
have
clearly
about
a stunt.
yeah,
she's
they have
clearly a
like an
stunt
equal
person.
number of stunt credits as they do acting credits. So
Yeah, I could
Just to
I
throw
could
that out
believe
there.
that, because look at her when she decides to like fight. Like you could tell that maybe that's why she was cast in this role.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest with you, I didn't see her as lovable, like at all. But I don't think she
Yeah.
did a bad job, if that makes sense. So I didn't dislike her. I think that the Cindy Lou you know who would just be a little bit more lovable. Like there was no art.
It would
for
have
me.
right. It would have helped. Yeah, I agree with you, but at the same time, I didn't. I like the sheriff guy, but is that Lou? Is Lou the sheriff? Who's the sheriff?
Yeah.
Really.
Okay.
You
no,
like-
Lou's the
see,
dad. The
sheriff-
sheriff is Sheriff Hooper, Eric Baker.
Okay.
So you
You
like
have
the
to go
sheriff?
down a ways for some reason.
Oh, he's
I didn't like him.
you guys.
No, He
really?
did. He did. He's not a great actor.
The,
Or he didn't act well in this. I'll say.
Well, I didn't
Like,
like
I was-
so the dad, Flip Kobler. I was really happy when he died because I hated the character.
Yeah.
I
did
don't
too.
know if it was bad acting or not. He was
Well,
like,
and,
going over the top to try
Over
to
the
get,
top, yeah.
to,
It's like
to
the
try
whole.
to get his daughter perked up and
When they're dancing in
Okay.
that window, I was like, cringe city. I don't need to see this. This is annoying. Like, I
Guess
want to throw a
just
rock
was
through the
kind of
window.
Okay with that.
Cringe.
Okay.
Ugh. Yeah, I just hate it when people try to act fake celebratory, like, ooh, Christmas, let's all dance like really crappy white people. And that oh god,
that's what we do.
when they hire like people like their friends to play reporters or whatever, it's like,
Oh my God.
Oh,
Okay, I don't know what.
I hate reporters in movies because people always hire people that don't know how to
The reporters.
enunciate. And,
Well, if you look at the
No,
credits
no,
of these
this
people, a
was
lot
the
of these people
worst.
were in other stuff together.
oh, was it?
Yeah, like
Yeah, you
even
can see it.
the director and Crystal and Amy and I don't know about Chase Mullins, but anyway.
Well, that's
But
not
God,
that's not
there's-
surprising though. I mean, that
No,
happens all
no,
the
it's
time.
not.
It
No,
happens.
it
It
does.
happens.
But if you're going to make this really awesome movie that could be even better, you give less roles to like you can still have your friends, but like, I mean, come on.
Well, I think they're leaning on that because they're doing something that's based on this bigger property. They can do whatever they want to, and I think it kind of shows because there's parts that don't show that they're
Well,
taking into consideration certain things that quality wise.
I wonder if it's more of a time because I think
Probably
this
a time
I think
crunch.
It's more like a rush. 'Cause,
Well,
like, time to do it now, real quick. Why?
well, I
right?
think because that Winnie the Pooh movie got all that press, was like showed up in Variety, and then because Terrifier, they're like, oh, we need to get this out quick.
Mhm.
Early, I don't know how long it took them to make this, but yeah. So
Looks like a week or a
Yeah.
weekend, maybe.
I mean, I will say I think it. I know I seem to be bashing this film a lot, but I did kind of like it when she sets the trap for him, and then when she pulls that candy cane
Yeah, the shotgun.
decorated shotgun, I literally laughed out loud and then she's got like
A matching handgun.
actual ornament.
Mhm.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
how you make an ornament hand grenade because they seem very very light. They look like just regular ornaments.
Of course.
So that just ended up, although there's a fight outside where they just put these huge like J.J. Abrams lens flares and everything. It's like, oh, come on. That's stupid.
Oh man. So are we saying this is a missed opportunity? Is that what we're saying?
I think it is.
For me,
I
for
enjoyed
sure.
it, but it could have been better. Of course,
It could have been.
better.
I think
Absolutely.
there's an opportunity here. I mean,
Mhm.
literally, if they leaned in, if they really wanted this to be a parody of like Christmas movies, but adding like blood and stuff, they could have done a whole lot more to where it's more parody. And I think if they stepped it up,
Yeah.
I think that's what felt out of place, because then they're playing it kind of straight in scenes, and then they're like the Grinch joke, and there's like a part where they're like, in an alternate universe, maybe this story has a happier ending, haha, and it's like wah wah. I think if they leaned into that more,
I did like that.
it'd be
I didn't
entertaining.
Mind that. Yeah, I didn't mind a lot of the things that they didn't like, but I do see that there are places where they could have. This movie, I feel like this movie could have been amazing had they changed some things and done some things and maybe polished a little bit here and there. I think it could have been really awesome. But if like, I don't know if they were rushing. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if they're happy with the finished product.
Bad fire effects and house. Ugh.
More time, more money.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's give our final. Let's just go for a score, 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. Jeff, you are up first.
Oh, I'm first. I'm going to go 2.75 for the score. Almost a 3. Almost a 3. I enjoyed a lot of what everybody else was talking about. I'm going to do some final thoughts anyway. I love the Chase Mullins as the deputy and him trying to sing the Christmas Carol, even though he was Jewish and didn't know the words.
No, that was
funny. Favorite scene, since I'm going first. I guess I got to take the Finch. The Finch. He keeps the doc is saying Grinch, but right when he says Grinch, the bartender behind him yells out, Finch! Order for Mike Finch! And that they play that twice, and it's perfectly timed. And she's a perfect person to do it too. So that was funny.
Excellent. Dave! Quiet Dave Dreher. What's your score for the mean one? And your
I was waiting for all of you to convince me that this was a better movie than I thought it was. But
did we?
You have failed miserably.
No. Okay.
I think what we come away with this though is I think we can all agree on this. It's a very uneven film. Is all the acting bad? No, but is a lot of it? Yeah. Is all the special effects bad? No, but are most of them? Yeah. Is all the writing bad? No. But is most of it? Yeah. So 2.25 for me. I think I thought somebody had a really great idea and just didn't know how to bring it to fruition. And it shows. And hopefully if anyone from the production is listening to our review, they'll go, oh, of course the CGI blood was on purpose to look.
Of course it was.
Yes. Of course. If they don't do it if they admit, no, that's the best they could do, this will be the last film they ever make. Favorite scene for me
I'm not putting that in the headline. No.
Favorite scene for me was, and I don't remember the background, but the deputy goes to do some investigating, and he's like in a closet or something, and the Grinch comes in. Yeah, he's in a closet. I don't know, he's in a closet or some type of thing. I don't remember where he is. Yeah, but there's like a little stuffed reindeer, and he steps on it accidentally. Yeah. And then he has to climb underneath the cover to act like a dead body. I mean, there was actually some tension there.
That was a cave.
Yeah, okay. Whatever he was in. Like, it matters.
Okay. It was a pretty big plot point. But yeah,
but I thought there was actual tension in that scene. And, actually an attempt to build some drama there. And I thought it played out pretty well. So I'm going with that one. And there was no fake blood in it. So.
No. All right. No. There you go. And a real stuffed reindeer. So there you go. All right, Crystal, your score, your favorite scene. No, me.
Okay, so I definitely like this more than them, though, still. Even though I acknowledge and recognize faults in the film, I still found it entertaining, which is the main thing. I mean, I like the little Easter eggs. The bar was named Horton's. It's silly, but it's cute. I mean, just that little stuff kind of gets me. I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because there's something about it I liked. Could it be better? Oh, for sure. Could it be worse? Oh, definitely. So, that's where I sit. My favorite scene is the mayor's death. Easily the mayor's death. I was really I think she did a great job as the mayor, and she was horrible and mean, and I was thrilled when she got.
But she was thinking about saving the town.
Mm-hmm.
But she was missing the blood on the side of her face on her severed head. So,
but that's okay.
That's
so,
okay.
Well, I'll shut up. That doesn't matter
Yeah.
how good or bad that effect was. Christopher, your score.
I don't want to spend any more effort talking about this. I'm going to give it a 1.5.
Okay.
I'm just not. And like I mentioned earlier, the only thing the only place that entertained me is when she pulled that shotgun or whatever that gun was, and it was decorated in candy cane, and I laughed so loud when that happened. So yeah, that's my favorite scene, if you could say, or the scene that entertained me.
There you go, the scene.
The only scene that didn't frustrate me.
There you go. All right, I don't know. I had a really good time with this. I'm giving I give 3.5 as well. I think those out there listening, you know if you're going to like this movie, and if you think you will, you probably will. It's if you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
My favorite scene. I loved the bar scene. I loved when he walked in and shut the door, and he's acting, grinchy and
you mean the Santa Con?
Yeah, the Santa Con, yeah, and all the slaughtering that happened, and it was so silly and bad, but it was I don't know. I was roaring. I had a great time with that. I enjoyed it. Just me.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. Okay.
I'm sure people.
I'm interested to see what other people
like think. The one girl's crawling, trying to get away, and of course she's going to get stopped.
I like the
green feet in front of her, and that's exactly what you got.
When the father got killed, at first I didn't realize that was his eyeball on the end of the.
That was so funny.
Oh, I never realized that was his eyeball
because it was a CGI.
Well, I thought it was like a Christmas ornament with a big round ball on the end, and I thought, well, how the hell did that push through his head? And then I realized it was his eyeball.
I'm sure it was intentional.
That's funny. I didn't realize it. Oh my god. Well, now that changes my mind. No, I'm just kidding. All right, there you go. That's our review of The Mean One. Yeah, go to Regal Theaters and check this out. Ooh, that would be a something.
Oh, that'd be amazing on the big screen.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
That blood would be something else.
Maybe they'll make that blood in 3D so you can watch it in glorious 3D.
It'll be streaming somewhere. I don't have the details on that.
Did you say it's going to be steaming? Is that what you said?
It'll be steaming and streaming.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
Gosh.
Yep.
All right. Let us know what you think of The Mean One in the comments down below. Crystal, Dave, Jeff, Christopher, too. Thank you for joining. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
Am I Christopher 1 or Christopher 2?
Think 1 and think 2. More 1 and more 2. There's a joke in there somewhere. Read the lines. All right, guys. Let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Gruesome Magazine.